Move up your spine. Take a nice, deep, slow breath. Go ahead and shrug your shoulders. Wiggle your fingers. Move up your arms. Go ahead and move your neck around. Circles side to side. Take another deep breath in and out. The top of the head. Recognize any tension in the head. I want you to go ahead and ball that tension up. And then push it out. You can take another deep breath in and out. And open your eyes when you're ready. So anyone want to tell me how they feel now after that? It's like a 1-minute exercise, maybe 2.
I have more space in my head.
You threw out.
And what popped up for me was a slingshot. So I slingshotted that thing away, and that was cool.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Millen, this is Tim. Just wanted to mention, because I'd forgot, I am recording this so that others can watch it later. And just wanted to let you know.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else have any comments on that mindfulness exercise? So that was my first tip for combating anxiety.
Yeah, no, it's good. You can apply that anywhere, in the car, at work, in the office. It's silent. You can, in your head, like a mantra. You can step out of a situation. It's a good practice from head to toe or toe to head.
You can do anyway.
Right. Anyway, however, right. Just being mindful of each body part. It's connected. So it kind of makes you a little warm, at least for me, a little warm and tingly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does slow you down and make you more present. Yeah. If you are not totally present to start off with, it makes you aware that you're not totally present.
Correct. Yeah, and I think it helps you reset where your mind is so that you can approach a situation with a little more calmness, and be more present for whatever you're doing, release whatever thoughts you have in your head, and get that sort of focus. So it's an easy thing to do, easy thing to learn, and I think it's something that you can teach others. I certainly teach my kids how to do this exercise. I think it's, and there's lots of ways to do it, and I just encourage folks to look online if you need help. I know YouTube has plenty of exercises on how you can do this. People will talk you through it. There's apps, but it's something that we forget about as an easy way to do self-care. So now that we're in that present talk, I'm going to skip some of these so that we can. So I was going to ask what things people do. I brought it up there, but what things do people do to release stress and anxiety?
Walking.
I'll go ahead and add another little quick meditation. It's called a 20-finger meditation. Mm-hmm. And so by physically holding on to your finger, you're kind of anchored, but then you can do all 10 fingers twice. And it actually is just so quite wonderful. I use it a lot if I'm in my car. Well, if my husband has an errand and I'm sitting in the car, I'll go and do that 20 finger meditation. And because that's a really good thing for me to do while I'm sitting in the car waiting for him. And so you can do that in a meeting. You can just do it in your lap. You don't even have to really hold your fingers if you don't want to. So you can do it all in your head. Nobody knows you're doing it.
So I think we were, maybe in the interest of time, obviously a lot of us know about things that we can do for stress. You know, there's exercise, movement. Brandie's going to talk a little bit about eating healthy and sugar cravings, praying, being out in nature, relaxation, sleep, rest. Obviously, we want to look at our caffeine and alcohol. And I think a big one is maybe avoiding watching the news. I know that's helped me because every time I watch the news, I know my stress levels are going up. So I think we talked a little bit about mindfulness and meditation. Brandie's going to talk about sugar cravings, but I do want to mention the how our rainbow colored foods are really important to helping us with our hormones and how we process them, especially when we're stressed. And so here, of course, is our phytonutrient foods. Getting that rainbow color. I know it's a little tough in the winter because most of us get a lot of these rainbow colors in the summer, but looking for all the different color foods will give us different nutrients to help us with how we process and how we deal with stress and all those hormones that are in our body. And then I do have a food plan, which if you are one of my clients that I would give. The other thing that I'm really fond of is herbal medications, which I give out in my practice in pill and supplement form, but these are available over the counter. Two of my favorites are ashwagandha, and I really love, and I'm going to show you a picture of a tea that you can get over the counter. But ashwagandha and holy basil are both Ayurvedic herbs. Ashwagandha helps with anxiety. It helps with various things: insomnia, joint pain, fatigue, and exhaustion. And it has a balancing effect on the immune system. And of course, when we're anxious, our immune system goes down. So ashwagandha is a great herb for this. And holy basil is another wonderful herb that I give out. It improves memory, fatigue, depression, anxiety. It actually helps with respiratory issues as well, and the gut. So these are two herbs. There's a couple others, rhodiola and reishi. Rhodiola is another one that helps with stress and depression. Reishi is considered the mushroom of immortality, and you can find all of this over the counter. It's not anything that you have to get a prescription for. I really like them in sort of these teas, and lavender is another favorite of mine. My husband drinks the honey lavender stress tea, and it's something that I've given to all my patients to buy. You can get it in Target. And it's a great tea to take, especially if you're in the evening, you want to kind of relax before you go to bed. Another favorite of mine is tulsi. Tulsi is what we just took, holy basil. And there's also a tulsi ashwagandha tea by Organic India. This one is honey chamomile and tulsi. And then there are tinctures and drops you can find. I send people to Whole Foods. They do have tincture blends and different herbal blends there to buy. Anybody have any questions about herbs? Has anyone ever used any herbs to help them sleep or anxiety?
I think for me, my hardest thing is like I'll take one herb or one extract or one plant or aromatherapy and not really know what goes with what.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I feel that's a little bit of a mystery for a lot of people. At least it is for me. Like, oh, I'll just take this one tea or this one supplement or this one essence, but not realizing like it's much more powerful when you're combining them with other things, but then you don't want to overwhelm your body.
I think most of these over-the-counter blends will already do that for you. So there isn't an issue with going ahead and buying a tea like this that combines. They will have already figured out what combines well. And obviously, if you have allergies to
Right.
specific herb, you want to be careful and read the ingredients. Other anxiety herbs include valerian root, kava, and skullcap. And that's what's in this anxiety blend tincture by Herblore. And that's a company that I've used or tell patients to go to buy herbs on their own. Passion flower, chamomile, lavender, oat straw, and skullcap are in their other combination that they have. So there's lots of herbs out there for anxiety. And I would say every person's different. So you kind of almost have to try something. And luckily, a lot of these teas are about $4 or $5. You can try it and see if it works for you. So teas are a favorite of mine. I think it's a nice ritual too. It's a way to take some time and take space out by making a cup of tea, sitting down. I sit down with my family and have a cup of tea, and it creates a ritual, a space, a time to calm down, a time to air out any anxiety, any stress, any issues during the day. And I think having a little ritual around teas can be a nice way to relieve anxiety. And you can always take it in tincture form if you'd prefer that. So some of the things that I do want to just mention are some of the gentle movements that can be really helpful. And these are some websites. We will be recording this, right, Tim? So you can post it. And I also will post this presentation on my website if you'd like to come back and see where these websites are. And these are different types of gentle movement that are great for anxiety. So Tai Chi is a Chinese martial art. Qigong is another set of movements that are repetitive and great for stretching. And Brima is not something I have a lot of experience with, but it is another form of gentle movements, rhythmic movements, and postures. And of course, yoga, which I think is everyone's more familiar with. So I'm going to go to my third technique. So we talked about the mindfulness exercise, we talked about the teas, and this is my third favorite way to release anxiety. Has anyone ever heard of EFT or emotional freedom technique? Oh, right, awesome. So we're going to just do a quick demonstration. And again, this is something you can do anywhere. That's quite calming to the body, and everyone does it different ways. This is sort of some of the tapping points, and this is based on, traditional Chinese healing medicine and focuses on meridian and energy spots. So you want to start, you can start at the top of your head, and everybody can go along with me and do this. And you want to go, you can see the one picture on the left, you can go inside the eyebrow, to the side of the eyes, underneath the eyes, under the nose, the chin, the chest. That's kind of my favorite. And under the arms, and then the sides of the hands. And let's do a couple at your own pace, a couple of these. And if there's a particular point that you really like, I really like the chest, and sometimes when I'm in a meeting and something's bothering me or someone's saying something I don't like, I'll just kind of sit here and do this. Nobody notices. I'm just kind of like, that's really nice. We have a lot of stressful meetings these days in the hospital, and so, well, we don't really have meetings though, but we do have lots of stuff going on. Anybody have a particular point that's really calling to them?
Under my eyes.
Yeah, interesting. And I'd have to look at a chart to see where that's connected to, right? Because the way traditional Chinese medicine works is these points are connected, to certain points in your body are connected to other organs. And some people just do the side of the hand. If you're in a car or you know. Anybody noticing any kind of changes?
There's better circulation, I think.
Okay, yeah. Feeling like some energy is going to that point. Maybe that's why I like the chest, because it's close to my heart. So again, another easy thing that you can do anywhere, any place, and great for kids, something you can teach them, easy for them to do. So I always like to remind everyone of milder symptoms versus more intense symptoms where you might want to seek help. And milder symptoms are emotional and physical symptoms. Emotional is that feeling of apprehension, waiting for the worst, trouble concentrating, feeling tense, jumpy, irritable. And the physical symptoms are chest pain, pounding heart, sweating, headaches, stomach upset, dizziness, shortness of breath, shaking. And if you are having panic attacks, because some of us are, especially right now, this is a good time to get help from your provider, your medical provider. And that could be acute chest pain. I have seen it in the clinic. People feel like they can't breathe, they're hyperventilating, and have huge digestive issues and feeling panicky. So those are the times when you want to seek help. And, of course, I don't know what that is. I don't remember that slide, but anyway, that's the short version of this presentation. Do seek help if you need it. And any medical provider, of course, a lot of them do give out anti-anxiety medications, but find natural ways to address it. And this was for another group, so I've got the little, I just saw that I had the presentation discounts for, but if anyone's interested in any help, of course, reach out to us. Any questions or any other, I know everybody wanted to have a little more of a discussion on anxiety.
Well, I think these are great ways to deal with the symptoms. But in my experience, by the way, I'm 80 years old and this is my natural color hair because I know how to shift out of fear into love. And I teach how to do that. And love is the healer and the peace part. And so what I discovered is the causes of stress are negative decisions made from negative experiences. For example, if your boss fires you, the natural tendency to say, oh, I'm not good enough. But the truth is that the only thing that's true is the boss fired you, that you are good enough, and that raises your self-esteem. And that's what I do for 40 years. And the people shift from living from fear to living from love.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a space for deeper conversations on what is the root of anxiety. As a medical provider, of course, I'm coming from the perspective of what can we do, at least acutely, to help? And then from a deeper perspective, at least in a holistic integrative medicine practice, it would be not only looking at, of course, the physical, but looking at, as you are saying, sort of what's happening on a deeper level. As a medical provider, I would be looking at what's happening on a deeper level from a medical perspective. But I think there's other folks who definitely would help, people like Tim, people who are in therapy who could address those on a deeper level. So yeah, thanks for your comments.
Yeah, it's great for people like me, a psychotherapist, to work with people like you because, for example, I have a client now who had brain cancer operation, and he, of course, was in tremendous anxiety, and I'm helping him just fly through it and help him heal. But my process is close your eyes and see clearly because you have to go inside. Talking is on the conscious level, but the issues are the causes are in your unconscious.
Absolutely.
And my therapy is called HART, H-A-R-T, Holistic and Rapid Transformation. And that's exactly what kept me going for 40 years. And I use the tools myself, and I live pretty much from love, trust, and faith.
Yeah, that's the truth. And I think for sure, from my perspective, a lot of anxiety comes from dysfunction, hormonal dysfunction, and nutrient deficiencies. So there's lots of different levels that we have to address anxiety, and these are just some quick fixes, but there's certainly at a deeper level that we need to address anxiety. And of course, then there's temporary issues like COVID. I mean, we are on the verge of having vaccines for everybody, and hopefully we'll move on, but then there might be some long-term chronic stress from that situation. So there's definitely lots of layers to addressing anxiety. Thanks.
Yeah, I
Liz.
have a client who's terrified to take the vaccine because he's had Lyme disease for 14 years and in so much pain. So I helped him release the fear that he will have to take it or he'll be affected by it. And he felt immediately at peace.
So maybe, does anyone have any other questions or comments? Because I want to give Brandie a chance to talk about her little.
Well, somebody just wrote about needing a website. Was that for you? Who was that for?
Oh, yeah. So I will type in my website there for you, and Tim, and will also put in his website in the chat box if all of you need that. And that's where I will post my video. And I think, Tim, you're going to post the video too.
Yeah, and what I am going to do, if you want, if you go to my website, which I will type in a minute, faithfullygrowing.com, and go under services, when you scroll down, there's some free meetups that I do. This will be one of them, natural ways to combat anxiety. It'll say register. And all that is to get your email so I can email this to you. There's a link. If you want to be signed up for a newsletter, click it. If you don't, you won't get anything else. But I will send you a link so that you can view the video. And I'll put that in the.
Does anyone have any other questions regarding sort of anxiety or?
Mm.
Hi, Kenny. Yeah, hi.
Hi. I have schizophrenia,
Okay.
and I think my anxiety is part of it. And it's hard for me to talk with words. Like, it's hard for me to make my words flow evenly, and word usage, something like that. And I'm from New York, so it's really crazy over there, and I have anxiety when I encounter people, meeting new people, so that's why I'm wearing a mask. Yeah.
Thank you for
So
sharing.
my doctor, he gives me Klonopin, which is a control substance for anxiety, and I'm not sure why he gives me it for like over a year already, because I read that Klonopin is not supposed to be taken for long term.
It's not ideal to take that long term, but you have a provider who's taking care of you. And so I would continue to talk with them about what's appropriate for your situation. But I understand your concern, and you could certainly talk to them about taking some of those herbs that I mentioned. But I would consult with them before you do it, just because your specific case is special. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing. I know it's not easy. Well, let's have Brandie. You want to go to it, Brandie?
Sure. So this was kind of a last minute for me to join the group, so I don't have a fancy presentation like Millen. So I'm going off the cuff,
Okay.
from the heart to the brain into our bodies, changing us on a cellular level. So let's talk about food. We all love to eat. We all love food. We all have our favorite treats. It seems right now, as we all know, especially working in the medical field and clinical nutrition, there is a huge influx of patients right now that are admitted with kidney and renal issues because of drinking and drugs. So not only are we dealing with the pandemic, on a whole nother level, we're getting this whole other group of people. And not to say that food can't heal this, but a big part of this is what we're putting in our bodies. We're so worried about what we're putting on the outside. We're not thinking about how is this affecting us on the inside on a daily basis. So there's the easy things that we can do every day when we're shopping, we're making meal prepping, whatever, however your style is. For me, I meal prep every week because my job is a little bit structured and I just don't have willy-nilly freedom just to eat when I want to eat. I have to schedule my meal times. So I want to talk on two topics: hydration and stress eating, anxiety, and sugar cravings. These are all things that we're combating right now. I think people are drinking a little bit more, eating a lot more sugary, salty foods, processed foods, snacking, not really being mindful of when and how we're eating because most people are at home. So you're bored, you think you're hungry, but you're really not. You think you're thirsty, but you're really not. So the way the body works is all of a sudden you have these really kind of bad habits that developed and people are gaining weight, and that brings on another level of anxiety and we're not really prepared. So today, actually, I made a really great vegetable broth and I made 2 containers of this. And this is to help to ease the pancreas. Now, the pancreas is a really important organ because this is what regulates our insulin levels. So there's a lot of people, women, children, all kinds of people that are dealing with insulin, and it fluctuates all day long. Some people have to be medicated, others, our bodies will naturally adjust. When you're eating a lot of processed foods and sugars and drinking, this converts into a whole nother level of sugar and your pancreas can't actually help regulate it, overproduces, and then you have all these fluctuations and you have to deal with all of that. And we don't want that, right? We want to be healthy. We want to protect our bodies. So tonight I made a vegetable broth, like I said, out of scraps of veggies that I had from something else that I was preparing. So I used carrots, celery, fennel, the fronds of the fennel, cabbage, which is extremely important. So cabbage, onions, and fennel were the 3 main components, and corn. Right now it's not corn season in California, so I bought organic frozen corn in the frozen section. Don't hate on it. Frozen veggies get a bad rap. Right now, it is what it is. So hot pot of water, put your onions in there and let that simmer for about 15-20 minutes. You really want that water to become kind of like an onion base. And then you toss all your veggies in there, bring it to a boil, drop it to a simmer, and let it sit for about 30 minutes. This isn't a big soup. This isn't something that's going to sit for hours. Don't put it in your crock pot. Don't put it in your Instapot. Big old fashioned pot with the lid, and just let it do its thing. Strain it out and then put it into containers and then sip on that. So what that does is it tricks your brain thinking that you're getting sugars because you have corn, which is a sugar, you have carrots, which have sugar, and then you have onions that have sugar. So these are really great 3 antiviral, antifungal ingredients, anti-inflammatory. So it pushes these toxins through your body, through your pancreas, which ironically creates a diuretic, but this is what you need. You need to flush your system out. And this gives your pancreas a little like spa day. So it's like, oh, thank you so much. And it just gets to kind of like relax a little, because when you're having all this yucky processed food, your body's like this. So you're stressed, you're anxious, you're snacking, you're eating, your nuts, your chips, your all of these things. And all of a sudden your body's like, you don't feel so good, and you feel bloated and you feel gross and you have a headache. And this is like a really quick, easy thing. I take a stack of scraps every week and I put it in a little Ziploc bag, and I will make this, and I just add my own take. Today I added a little bit of fresh ginger and a little extra goodness, and then a pinch of Himalayan salt. Now there's a big controversy about salts, and we can get into that on a whole nother level, but Himalayan salt is the only salt that does not raise your insulin. It actually absorbs into the body, and it's almost bioidentical to what the sodium levels are that we carry within ourselves. So this is a really helpful tip. So if you don't have a little thing of Himalayan salt, go get it. You can buy it anywhere. It's super inexpensive. I use it just for this and just a teeny tiny bit. A lot of people are on the bone broth wagon, which I go from time to time, but sometimes all of that extra protein and amino acids may not always work with everybody. It's good for healing the gut. There's different things, but this is a really easy vegan vegetable base. Anybody can make it. I know we all have little scraps of veggies that we don't want to throw out. Don't put in dark greens because it's going to make it bitter, and then it doesn't really extract the extra vitamins. So if you think you're going to put in spinach or arugula, don't do it. This is a kind of a root vegetable base for a reason, because you want to take those natural enzymes and it changes your body. So that's a little bit of a takeaway. I don't know how everyone feels about that, but I like it and it works. You can just sip on it like a cup of tea at the end of the night, in the morning. It's great in the morning. It kind of flushes everything out and kind of gets you ready. So if you're having coffee, if you're a tea drinker, coffee drinker, you kind of want to go side by side with this.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I posted something on Instagram. If anyone's on Instagram, you can follow me at Brandie Wine Tomato, Brandie, Brandie Wine Tomato. And I did a little video there this morning or this afternoon, and I'm on TikTok, and I did a couple things on TikTok. So I just want to get the word out. And I think for everyday working people, we're tired, we're exhausted, we have a lot going on. I have a lot of fun little food tricks that we can do on a daily or weekly that aren't going to really extend the bank account.
And I wanted to mention too, on the social media line, there is a Facebook group that Millen's a part of, and I'm going to invite Brandie into. But if you go to that faithfullygrowing.com and under services, you scroll down to where you will click on this to get the video. There's a big link to a Facebook page that you can go to. If you join that, we will all be there. You can interact, and we'll also post, I'll have Millen post her resources and social media and where to go to, as well as Brandie.
Great.
I think
Does
some of-
anyone have any questions with any food, any nutritional ideas, any things that you're kind of curious about, or how it works in the body? I feel like this is a little bit of a mystery. You know, this affects us emotionally, mentally, physically, chemistry. I mean, it's so huge, and food is so powerful. Food is medicine. You know, all these other countries and cultures extract plants and herbs from the earth to provide for themselves. And we're such a fast country, and we're so easily, you know, adjusting to just whatever we can grab and go, and kind of forgetting the essence of where, you know, food comes from and how it changes our bodies, and why we should be eating a little bit more seasonally and not just, why are we eating strawberries in the middle of winter? That's a little strange.
Do you have a website?
I don't have a website yet. I'm just kind of on the precipice of all of this, and I just like to share information. I have an Instagram. I think Millen just put it up there if people want to.
Never once gone to Instagram.
Oh, are you on Facebook?
I've never done it. So how does one get a hold of you?
I can give you my email or my information, and I think it might be posted later at the end where we can probably add it if you want to get in contact with me, and I can share some information with you. Yeah. And give you some feedback on some stuff. Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, it's a quick, easy ways to kind of, you know, incorporate.
And you can always, if you don't have an email, there's a contact on my website where you can reach out to me, or if you do Tim at faithfullygrowing.com, I'll put that in the chat. I can make sure that you get connected to.
Anybody have any other questions, any inquiries, any thoughts or feelings about your food habits right now, things that you're struggling with? This is a really good time to kind of share, because I know it's really hard for everybody, and being socially distancing, you know, we don't have that. We don't want to shy away from not having communication. I think this is a really hard thing right now, where if we're not able to get out and see people, we're all becoming hermits. And we need to kind of not fall into that right now. And this is where a lot of people that have anxiety and depression, and all of this stuff is happening. And we just have to take a couple breaths and reach out and start communicating and having these conversations, because the reality is we don't know how long this is going to go, and we don't know what's going to end, but we all have to eat. And 80% of our immune system is in our gut. And if we're so worried about wearing masks and gloves and sanitizers, it helps and it works. But the whole point of all of this conversation is to be integrative and preventative and wellness and mindfulness and finding ways individually, and then sharing that. That's the whole point of this platform, is sharing.
I wonder if, so thank you for the vegetable broth. That's a great idea. I do a lot of bone broth.
Yeah, me too.
Are there a few other ideas quickly? I know that this is it could take up a whole topic, but any others that you can give us tonight?
Yeah, one quick little recipe or idea that I do for hydration. Hydration is really important for many reasons. People just assume drink enough water and you're good, but so much of our food has water sources in it that keep you hydrated for a longer amount of time, because your body is depleting. And when you're stressed, your adrenal glands are like this, right? And you're feeling very fatigued, and your lymph nodes, and you're getting swollen. So I try and juice a couple times a week if you have a juicer. I use cucumber is amazing, and I mix it with a little bit of celery and a pinch of Himalayan salt. And that seems like nothing, but it's like this immediate, like my body just is like a sponge. It absorbs it and it feels so good, and it's so clean. I do a lot of lemon and mandarin. I'll squeeze mandarin oranges and lemon and a little bit of hot water and sip on that throughout the day. That's great for antiviral, antifungal. Lemons are just a great antibacterial in general. I just really like clementines are in season right now, so get your citrus. I juice with carrot and beet and turmeric, and that just helps with anti-inflammatory. It helps with just kind of like a car wash for your guts. It's like, and I just feel like my body feels really good after. And so I just kind of figure out what works for me, because not everybody's going to be able to absorb the same kind of nutrients, and you'll feel it and you'll know intuitively, like, this feels really good, or this really works for me. I'm going to stick with this. And I'm talking nonstop to patients all day, so I don't always have time to just grab a glass of water or drink something. And bell peppers, red and yellow and green bell peppers are great. They're 90% water. So if you can snack on those in the raw, that's also a way to hydrate. And tomatoes are really hydrating. Okay. So some of these are really acidic things that are hard for people to digest. Sometimes juicing is easier because you're not having to break down all the fiber. So, I go back and forth. I have a Vitamix. Some days I feel like I need a lot of fiber. Some days I just need straight pure juice. So those are some tricks and some little things that I've been doing. And I come to work with all my little jars, and they're like, you and your concoctions. I'm like, it's working.
Tell me,
Thank you.
You mentioned a salt, but I could never grasp. I'm hard of hearing.
Oh,
I can never grasp the actual name that you put in front of the salt. Can you spell it?
Oh, Himalayan salt or pink salt.
It's pink.
pink.
In the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pink. It looks pink. It's got like a larger crystal. There's different. You can buy it in a block. Some people have a fancy.
I've seen it before. I just was not catching what you were saying before. Salt.
Sorry. Yeah, Himalayan salt. So, like I said, it's really interesting. We can have a whole conversation about salts, and there's so many different salts all around the world that do different things for our body. But Himalayan salt scientifically has found that it doesn't raise the insulin levels in your body like other salt, like iodized salt or table salt. So this is a really great way to sprinkle it on, a vegetable, a food, a protein. I sprinkle it in like a little bit of like my juice, like I said, and it just really kind of absorbs into the body on a cellular level. And just like I said, it's like a little tiny pinch, and you can buy this anywhere. It's all over the place. I think people now are using it as a daily, as opposed to just like a regular sea salt, or, it's great. Yeah. I love it. I think everyone should have it in their cupboard, and, You know, sometimes if you're just really needing like a natural electrolyte, if you will. So a lot of people are going to grab Gatorades right now, or those little packets of emergencies, and that's really not, that's all sugar. It doesn't really have a lot of replenishing. You have to drink a lot of those, and this is a quick way and cheap on the dime, you know, salt, to just put in a little bit of water, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of something, and it's immediate. Your body immediately recognizes this and says, oh, I identify, and thank you.
I would just say be careful with drinking lemon water all day. I have
Oh yeah,
patients where they've had a lot of digestive issues from having lemon water all day. I like the idea of mixes.
Yeah, I mix it. It's harsh, you know, it's bitter. I think a little bit of it in all the different areas. I think it just works. Yeah, I wouldn't just, yeah.
Yeah, not tons of lemon.
No, just a teeny tiny bit, just to give it a little bit. So it's not, yeah, the water's just a little cloudy. Yeah, lemon is very potent.
Right.
It's very astringent, so.
I was going to ask something that I've been trying, and we're going to wrap up in a couple minutes and we'll get some closing thoughts. But I'm about 20 pounds from getting to an ideal weight that I've struggled with weight all my life, up and down. But one thing that I have found in the morning, I've been trying to start fasting at 7 and try to do a 12 to 16-hour fast. In the mornings, ginger, turmeric, and I didn't realize turmeric has an R until this week, by the way, in it. But turmeric, and then a Saigon cinnamon stick, and I put that in the Instant Pot.
Yeah.
And it gets sweet even, and that, I like that.
Add a little bit of peppercorns to really activate turmeric. It needs peppercorn. People don't understand it's a very powerful component. It's just like peanut butter and jelly. It works. It helps to absorb into the body.
I do add peppercorns to it. And then when it's done, I'll squeeze half a lemon, depending on how much I have.
Yeah. Yeah. Towards the end, you don't want to put it in because then it gets bitter. So yeah, that's great. I think turmeric is very underestimated. A lot of people don't really know how to take it. They see tablets, they see it in powder form, you know, they want to cook with it. And you just kind of have to, like you said, play with it, find what works for you. It's a very strong if you overdo it, and it stains everything. So I'm always like, my countertops are stained, my juicer is stained. There's no getting around it. Yeah, it's like a natural dye. So that's the pros and cons, right, of turmeric is it gets on your hands. You definitely know I've been juicing, and you can see it all over me. And so, yeah.
I'll have to have that as a different topic. That's a great topic.
Yeah.
A lot of places we could go with on this. And so maybe we will do it again.
Yeah.
Soon. Did you guys, Millen, I don't want to take away, I mean, I gave you the stage. Any closing thoughts or?
No, thank you so much for everybody attending. This is the first time I've used Meetup and organized this. So I hope you found it helpful, and I'm definitely enjoying it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. And I hope that I hope someone uses my ideas or my ingredients or comes and visits me on Instagram to see, because I love it. I think this is powerful stuff, and, you know, it's easy. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I love sharing.
Thank you all. And again, if you want the video, I've recorded it. Just go to that website and go under services and put your email in, and I will send it to you.